Hey, Gloucester Township. I'm Joe Allen. That's Keith Gibbons. This is the GT Observer podcast, and we are recapping a council meeting here.
I think it was July 14th.
July 14th council meeting. Yep, I was not there. Were you there?
I was not. I was at some campaigning thing, so I was busy that night. I did watch it that night though on the YouTube stream and learned about our new council resignation, which they kind of actually called a week prior, the last podcast. I was talking about the whole Camden County shuffle, how they like to get somebody in there, and I made talk of that. I'm like, almost like I predicted.
It's man, everything is so predictable. It's like it's not even. I mean, it's almost like a game plan at this point.
Oh yeah,
it's not like
basically there's a playbook there that you can tell exactly what they're going to do, and it's just.
Yeah, I really kind of I sent you guys a message last night, and I was sitting, wife and I were at the movies last night, and I'm just thinking, I bet Troxel's going to go before ballots are out. I feel like Troxel's going next.
Is that your prediction?
Yeah, I think they're trying.
She's been she's had a 1-year term and rerun again.
She's been on council. She was on the council way back in. I don't even know how long ago that was when she was on it, but I know there's people that we know that were on council, and I think they were on the council in the 90s, and they know of when Troxel was on. So she's been on there for a long time, and then was gone for a long time. Did some stuff with the college, I think, in the county, and then came back. But I just have a feeling that
we'll mark it down and see if you're right.
Yes. So mark this right now that I feel like she's not going to make it to the
Joe's
ballot. I think that there are. Look, they you'll find out that the process is when somebody resigns. They interview 3 people.
Well, it goes to whatever party the person was elected as.
Yeah, so Michelle Winters was a Democrat, so
correct.
Goes to her committee.
So
they reach out
to the committee. So it's goes to Kevin Piccolo, and then he submits based off, I guess, whatever the committee selects as the people to council, who then go through some sort of an interview process, which actually that was what Sam Sweet interviewed before in the past for that. He's put his name up. They interviewed him, and they recorded the videos, and then used it against him.
Yeah,
in a campaign. Hey, look at this guy.
I wonder. Now we'll never know because the Democrat committee doesn't have to show us if they've recorded it.
Right.
But I wonder if they recorded the interviews for the 3 people that they interviewed at least 3 people because they submitted 3 people to council, and the council has to go and interview those 3 people. Those I think we could technically Oprah those
if they do record them. Yeah.
If they're recorded, if they're not recorded though, it's kind of weird, right? Because
why would
did they only record Sam because they knew that they were going to use it?
That's what I'd have to believe that's the case.
I would say I think it's almost a certainty. Now their excuse back in the day was, well, we had some people that weren't available, so we wanted to send them the recordings.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's play this clip.
Some of you may have noticed that Miss Winters is not here.
She wasn't there last week
Mrs.
either,
Winters,
right? If I recall correctly.
On June 25th, submitted a letter of resignation effective June 30th of 2025. When there is a resignation from council that was sent to myself and also the township clerk and the solicitor, the township clerk notifies the party that individual is part of.
Send it to the king.
So the clerk contacted the Democratic Party chair,
the little king,
Mr. Piccolo, and made him aware that Mrs. Winters had resigned effective as of June 30th. That position has to be filled within 30 days of June 30th. Within 15 days, the Democratic Party chair has to provide 3 names from the Democratic County Committee to be reviewed by council. Those 3 names were submitted on July 2nd 2025 to the clerk, myself, and also the township solicitor. On the following week, on June 7th, 3 candidates were interviewed by a subcommittee, myself, Vice President Mignon, and Councilwoman Walters, and those individuals will be discussed in a closed session that we will go into immediately after I'm done my remarks here. So I will need a motion to go into closed session and a second. Then we'll go into closed session. We will come out, and an individual will be appointed to council and will be seated this evening.
All right. So now they go into a closed session, and they allegedly talk about all the candidates.
It's when they're going to be like, it's when they're going to discuss it and break it down. And be like, I like this
is
person.
Why this guy's got to be on here. Well, that's kind of how a committee works. Though.
Right.
A committee is responsible for doing a task, and it was theirs. I forget who we just named there, but theirs is like, we screen these people. Here's who we recommend and why. That's what is going on behind closed doors.
So every council member is in this meeting, and they're giving their opinions on who they like and who this person likes. And normally, my personal opinion, right? My personal opinion is, yep, it's probably time for that. My personal opinion is that they knew months ago who they were going to pick. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and
so they come out.
Also, at this time, put my disclaimer up as well and echo your, thing. I would assume they knew before she even resigned. They knew who the next person's going to be.
Yeah, just a little feeling,
There may even have been a little nudge, like, "Hey, listen, you just had some grandkids.
Hey,
you should
probably go hang out with some grandkids a little bit more."
But we don't know that.
I don't know.
All speculation.
All just speculation.
Again, we just read these playbooks and we know, okay, here's what happens.
So
anyway, let's see. Then they appointed a new council member. The name of, is it Siri?
Siri Castro Jr.
Siri Castro Jr. You want to play the clip here?
We reviewed the 3 names that were provided to council, and I believe there is a nomination.
I'd like to nominate Siri Castro Jr.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Albright Troxel?
Yes.
Mrs. Grace Love?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
Yes.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Mr. Castro is in the audience. Mr. Castro, can you come up with your family and have someone hold the Bible? And Mr. Carlemere, our township solicitor, will swear you in.
He was quick to jump up there. I didn't notice that before.
Let's
hear his background.
Well, Mr. Castro is filling out some paperwork there briefly, just to give you a little bit of background. He's been a resident of Gloucester Township since, I believe, 2013. He lives off the Summerdale Road corridor with his family. He is an Army veteran, a fire marshal in the Camden City Fire Department, and a member of the American Legion Post 81. And anyone
281.
Excuse me?
281.
What did I say?
81.
I didn't put the 2 in there? Post 281. I apologize. And this past
That's shocking. I don't make mistakes.
was the keynote speaker on the Memorial Day services. He also has been involved in our community coaching baseball, coaching Mr. Nash at one time in Gloucester Township baseball, and also Gloucester Township basketball. So we want to welcome you, Mr. Castro, the council. And I also want to thank the 2 other individuals. I'm sure people are curious what their names are. Mr. Singh, Sean Singh, who is a resident of Gloucester Township, born and raised here, grew up here, went to Columbia University, and worked in the White House, and is now back in our township. I want to thank you for his interest. And Maureen Bergeron, who's actually here today. Maureen Bergeron has been a member of the community for 3 years, but was an elected official in Camden County for many years, and has served as director of senior services over in Lakeland for Camden County. So I want to thank you very much for interviewing and expressing interest in this position.
All right. So that is our new council member.
Mr. Castro's got a pretty good resume. Sounds like a good guy for the community. So,
Yep.
looking forward to see what he can do for the rest of the year. He would be up for he'll be up for
He's
re-election.
up for re-election.
Re-election
this year. So he'll be running as an incumbent this year, even though the primary happened. Right? They would replace.
Yeah.
Because right? Is that am I correct?
Yeah, Winters was on the primary, so he took her spot. So he will be.
And that's what we were talking about, the Camden County Shuffle, where it's, you don't actually have to run for your first time. You're running as an incumbent, but it's because you were shuffled into a place at some point.
Sometimes your committee could be like, I think we got somebody a little more exciting for this ballot. So I think he sounds pretty good. And obviously, sounds like some people know him. I know Nash has known him apparently for a long time.
Yeah, he coached him.
So yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to. Got to be positive about anybody new that comes on there, man. They all get a chance to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be their own person, and hope that he's got a couple 3-4 months here.
All right, so we move on to public comments for agenda items only, and we had Mr. Leader ask a question here during this segment.
My name is Dave Leader. I live in Glendora on R-25:07-265, increasing the amount on a change order for the Blackbox building. My question is, what is the total spending on the Blackbox building to date?
The total spending on the black box, I would not have that. No one would have that here.
No one. No one.
So I can't provide that to you. Mr. Carter, is that something that you can respond to Mr. Leader via email, what the total spending is as of today?
Yes, I will ask the CFO, Christiera, to compute those numbers, put those numbers together.
This is an ongoing project of them spending our tax dollars, and they have zero clue. Even I'm not involved with this project whatsoever, but I know along the way I've just kind of kept a mental tally in my head. It's about three. It was at one point it was 1 million, then it was 2 million, then it's 3 million. From my calculation, based off of I think we got another $750K. We're somewhere in the ballpark of $5 to $5.5 million. Back of the napkin math. There.
I knew it was at least.
That's what Dave was asking. He was asking for a down to the penny number, and he literally no one would have that number here.
I know it was at least over $3.5 million.
I thought
at
it was
least
like
at that point, because
this
was like we bought this for like $300,000. I think
it was less than that. I think it was like 100 and something.
I thought it was like I thought it was around the cost of like a mid-level house. I thought it was maybe.
Either way, no one would know the answer. It's
back then,
bizarre.
right? Back then, if you remember, it was sold like, this is an amazing deal, right? We can't turn this down. It's a great deal for a historic property, and it's like, all right, and we all fought against it, but it's like, what can you do? It's hard to argue against like a historic property, but. And people are like, I don't know how much it's going to spend. How much is it going to cost? And I'm like, oh, we don't know. We don't have any calculations. And then next thing you know, it's like, well, it has asbestos. And by the way, like, there's really nothing salvageable except the exterior.
Right.
And now we're almost at $5 million.
Well, I could be wrong. Again, these are just numbers I remember in the back of my head, adding up on the back of a napkin. But I could have swore that it was close to like $2 million-ish just for the outside. Maybe it was $3 million, close to $3 million as for the outside. And they're like, yeah, we're going to finish the inside now. And you're like, wait a minute, that much money is going into the outside? It looks almost exactly the same. I mean, there's some new doors. Yeah, there's a lower thing. Yeah, there's some new stairs. But what? Where did the money go? Okay, there's a new roof. I mean, you started having that stuff up. And, there was demo in the beginning part, but it's just bizarre.
Outside of the roof, like, if you exclude the roof, I'm looking at like $50,000, right?
No, it's
come on, some doors, right? Some doors. I mean, look,
it's more than that, but it's not whatever the number is there. It's bizarre.
What do we pay? Like, what are we paying? Like,
well, the thing that pisses me off the most about this
if 5 companies go over it and be like, all right, I can do all this, and this, and they give you a price, I'm curious to see like what You find just 5 random companies, give you a price and see what they paid.
Oh, you need a bridge? $32,000.
Exactly, right? A bridge the size of this bar top,
Right.
$32,000.
Yeah. Like literally the size of a pallet. Like if you know what the size of a pallet is, like 48 by 40 or something like that. That's what the $32,000 bridge is. They did just start tearing the sidewalk up and putting brick in. That I don't know where it's going to end, but there's brick in the sidewalk to make it a little snazzier. That's needed, I guess. But there's the thing about this that irritates me is there's another building further down the pike that used to be a bakery, I believe, that now has started having signs that says Glendora Ice Cream Place. And there people knock that place for being like, where's there going to be parking? Where's this? That's a private business trying to open up to like have an ice cream store in town and like, you know, nice little section of town over there. That's where I live in Glendora. And people will knock that private owner. Yet their own tax dollars, almost close to $5 million-ish, I believe, right now, they are spending for a black box theater which was already a
has like 6
performing arts
parking
center,
spots.
Not even another 6, which already has another theater 2 buildings down.
Yes,
and they're like, we're okay with that. We're okay with you spending close to $5 million of our money on that. But that guy in Glendora, whoever it is, man or woman that's opening up that store, we're gonna talk crap about them. What? How?
I know.
How is that?
We had to tear a building down just to create like 5 parking spots for this place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do wonder in Glendora, like where I'd love to go over. But like, I don't even know where to park.
Where are you going to park for the theater if it's a community center?
I got to leave a bicycle at your house now so that I can park at your house and ride a bicycle over and get ice cream now.
All right.
But yeah, there's nowhere to park over there because you had the Rite Aid was empty.
You're just as bad as the rest of them. You're gonna complain about the parking over there?
I just look. You see a new business coming in, right? And you're like, damn, wonder when they go out of business, what's gonna be next?
Wow.
It's just one of those things, right? It's just one of those things you think about. You're like, man, I really
Downer.
You hope good for them, but you're like, what if they thought about the parking thing?
Look, how many stores are in Philly throughout Philadelphia? Go down 9th Street. If there's something good, people are going to find a way to get there.
I couldn't tell you what's on 9th Street. I don't go over there. There's no parking.
All right, let's go. Move on. Dave, I don't even know what... I'm just going to play this.
There needs to be coordination before you approve additional housing with all the school boards. The zoning board also needs to be informed of the school board's capacity to take on new children. And finally, the zoning board also needs to be considered. You can't keep approving and rezoning and not have the capacity to teach the students that will come with those housings.
You had mentioned the CDBG program, so that's Community Development Block Grant, which is through the HUD, Housing Urban Development. It would not address any school-related issues when you have a CDBG grant. That is addressed for low and moderate income individuals, affordable type housing, seniors, veterans. So when you're talking about that particular program, you question if we're coordinating with the school board regarding the additional housing that's taking place and zoning. There are conversations that take place between the administrations of both the district and the township. I don't know what you're referencing regarding the CDBG and what was included in the agenda.
Well, we don't back and forth dialogue.
Yeah, I think he kind of took. I think Dave was talking about just in general, when you build, do you take into consideration the schools? And I think Orlando kind of said, well, no, this thing here, that doesn't, that this is what this, and like.
That's a non-answer answer.
He knows, he's got to know what Dave's actually asking, but he kind of went off to a different topic. Like, if it's HUD, I would imagine there's still the requirements. Like, hey, you can't bring in 2,000 new students that are all going to HUD because we might not have a place to put them. But I was curious, and I don't know if you can answer, but is there any communication with the Board of Education about new housing going in? Or is it kind of like the new housing goes in and then the Board of Education just says, look, we're out of room, we need another school? Do you know how that works at all?
So I don't know how much I can say, but I know publicly there has been discussions, about the amount of development that has been approved in town, and there are discussions happen.
Okay.
However, they're not required. Like, that's not a factor in, like, if you can approve a development to happen. So it is very strange, and it's. I think it's like that in a lot of government things. Like, it's always finger pointing. Like, well, I don't need to do that. They need to react to what we did and and whatnot. But that doesn't mean that it can't happen. Like, there are other times. Like, I've been at Collingswood, for instance. Been to council meetings over there. Their mayor is actually at the meetings and is talking, and they literally meet with the board of ed to discuss different things that are going on in town. That doesn't happen in Gloucester Township, where the administration is going and talking to the board as a like committee even that I'm aware of. But that doesn't mean that a phone call doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how that takes place, but it's not something that the Gloucester Township board or like the regional boards or anything like that are involved with, and they're not required to be. But that's how a lot of things are. It's just because it's not required doesn't mean that you can't do it, which is always a frustrating part. It's like that, and that's kind of what Dave is saying. Like, you might not be required to, but why can't you guys go and talk to them? That's what I got out of his conversation anyway.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot. It's just this is not a scripted show. So it was just a thought that it's a thought that I had the other day when I heard Dave asking it, and I thought that I wonder is because I remember many years ago, somebody saying, "Why are we're still building? Our schools are so full," and then Orlando saying our schools aren't anywhere near capacity. And I'm thinking, like, now, just in the last several months, we have there's been like 2,000 housing units in the process of being built. That doesn't include the ones since I heard that years ago. And I'm thinking, like, thousands and thousands of people have now moved here because of that. And I'm thinking, is there room still?
Well, it's not even just that too. It's there's and this was discussed recently in a public workshop setting for the district. The special services in our schools is taking care of a population that has been growing over time, and those classrooms have much smaller class sizes as a requirement. Like, you can't have more than a few students in these classes, but that population as a whole is growing as well. So it's not only just the amount of building that we have, it's also the population of the students that are coming into the schools that have a need that we need to fill, and the combination of the two. I mean, that's just common. So I'm not saying anything that's that's just a common sense thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's okay. You have more students, and you also have a growing population in our special services. What does that equate to? I mean, I'm not going to say it, but if you do the math,
it'd be kind of nice to know if
you run out of room, right?
If something's proposed for a particular plot of land, and they're like, we're going to put 500 homes in this plot of land right here, and you think, all right, how many children could possibly be there, and then where would that development go to school, and then that school's like at capacity. I just want to wonder how that's handled. Is that even in the thought process?
Well, let me play the other side of this.
But I guess does that matter though? Because like if a developer buys a piece of land and it's like it's zoned residential,
right? And that's what I was going to say is so say all these factors come into play and you don't want to see more housing be built. If you were the owner of that land, it was already zoned for that. The master plan says this is what the zoning is, and you decide, hey, I'm going to develop this and I want to create property. Yeah. What's stopping you? The problem is when they change zoning from something else that was not meant for it to then allow it because for whatever reason it is that they want to do it. And this was, I put an article out today on on my website about this topic. And this is, you don't want to stop somebody that has the right of their property. Like there's a fine line and a balancing act that that we're doing here. So you can't knock someone that has a piece of property, like like you started saying.
Yeah.
You can't stop them from doing that. But I mean, we can be smart about our planning when we're taking things that are commercial or zoned for something completely different and making it high density housing or something that is not the proper use for that that land. It's not.
Yeah, there's some instances where if it's zoned commercial, as much as we hate the thought of warehouses, sometimes it's better to put a warehouse in this big space rather than a few hundred homes.
We've talked about that before. This this property behind the Target over in Sicklerville, that was zoned for warehouses, and somebody came in and asked for permission to build houses. They built all these houses, and there was a piece of property that somebody owned already that was for warehouses, and they're like, you can't build a warehouse there. Like, that's literally what it was zoned for. Now you're telling me we can't because you allowed all these houses around here, and now my warehouse, which is what it's originally zoned for, is going to impede on your houses that you allowed to happen. So that's the problem with how they do stuff around here.
That was a tough one because that was kind of like, that was a warehouse in a really bad spot, but also in a really densely populated area too. So it's kind of like,
but densely populated based off of changing zoning to allow it to be in place there.
I know, yeah. So it's like that's a good that area there is a good retail spot too. But
it's houses.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
all right,
like you said in your post, and I read your post. The master plan is stick with the master plan, and
it's
then
there for a reason.
If you can, I mean, if you can, I guess change it so that it's yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to Nancy. Nancy Kelly expressed some concern here.
Nancy Kelly, Blackwood.
This is something else that was on the agenda.
Just because I found something. I would like to express serious concerns regarding the potential rebid for batting cages. As you know, the previous build approached nearly $1 million, and it was rightfully canceled due to excessive cost. Considering the town is facing a staggering $70+ million in debt, revisiting this project is not only fiscally irresponsible, it's a step in the wrong direction. What's even more concerning is the lack of transparency from the last bid, as residents did not have a clear understanding from council of the monthly operating cost and maintenance cost. Taking on a large capital project without knowing the long-term financial impact only deepens the long-term burden to taxpayers. It also adds the uncertainty to an already strained budget. Adding to our debt without full financial picture is not fiscally planning. I and others absolutely value sports. I was a sports kid. My kid was a sports kid. I value sports and all that they bring to the table. Teamwork, discipline, and community spirit. I am not being a naysayer. We all want what's best for our kids. What's best isn't handing them a $70 million debt to deal with later. This kind of financial strain isn't a today problem. It's our children's problem and our grandchildren's problem. They will be paying this debt of $70 million for many years to come. Youth programs can be supported in a responsible, creative way. I also noticed this is the timing. I feel like this is political showmanship, launching an expensive sports project.
No way, they don't do that kind of
Meanwhile,
stuff.
our critical infrastructure, like our sewer system, is being overlooked. Before entertaining costly new facilities and adding additional obligations to the taxpayers and adding more to the $70 million in debt, council should focus on the basics. Infrastructure needs, function in pipes, our modern sewer system that will not leave us dealing with floods, backups, or emergency repairs.
They don't do political showmanship on election years, and they have the best person on the job, I think, for that. sewer. If you guys didn't see, there was an
Gabby?
article. Yeah, the article
Oh.
on the GT Observer site with literally somebody asking, like, hey, we're neglecting our sewer system because we don't have enough staff here and you guys aren't maintaining it. And what does that end up with? The WIPA situation where they can sell it without your vote. And they've already said that's not off the table. That was another thing. If you guys follow along with us, which actually I guess brings us to subscribe to our channel. Go on YouTube. We have a video where council refuses to say that they're taking it off the table as an option to sell our sewer system. And on our YouTube or on our Facebook page or on our website, currently there's an article proving it out that Gabby, who is in charge of our sewer system, is allowing the sewer system to fall into disrepair. It's not
so that's
not something.
I think that's really something. It's really something to think about when the time comes and they say, "Look, our sewer is it's in disrepair. We can't afford to upgrade it. We definitely have to. We have to give it over to a private company." You have to think. Then remember this moment because we're looking at and now Nancy said that it was almost $1 million. It was $1.5 million for the batting cages. So think about it. When we come to the point where they're like, we have to get rid of this sewer, we can't, and you don't even get a chance to vote on it. Like they can sign it over if it goes into disrepair. Think of this $1.5 million right now that they're getting ready to talk about spending. And
I don't even believe it's only $1.5 million. I mean, look at again. Let's go back to the bank building.
It was going to be $3. Remember when we first talked
well
about this?
Over that. I think they just the structure alone was over that $1.5 million, and I don't even know that included mechanicals and HVAC and everything else. I have no idea.
Budgeting for when we started talking about batting cages, it was around $300,000.
Well,
and
that's
then,
what they started off as what they thought they might cost.
And then when it was all said and done, it was $1.5 million, and all these parents came out of nowhere. Like these super baseball dads came out of nowhere, and they were all fired up about this is for the kids. It makes kids smile. We have to do this. Not thinking anything about the responsibility or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I wonder where those dads. I wonder if those dads are still knocking on doors trying to raise money.
I don't know.
Or they just want us to pay for it. So the next thing up is she continues with Superman Dan Hutchinson.
Oh yeah,
that's old helpful Hutch from Gloucester Township is now our assemblyman.
Yeah.
And he found $750,000 for this.
I just saw this on Serving South Jersey for LD4. They have secured $750,000 for Gloucester Township Community Park to build indoor batting cages. Are we putting the cart before the horse now? That is a question. This is a done deal?
So, thank you very much, Ms. Kelly. Your time is up. The batting cages, and your comments about fiscally being irresponsible and the debt, that is correct. Mr. Hutchinson.
What, that you're fiscally irresponsible?
Legislative District 4 secured $750,000 to go towards batting cages that all of our baseball and softball organizations can use at Community Park. So we're not going. We don't go back and forth. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
No, we don't.
We're not allowed to do that
He's the king up there. Remember?
So that is going towards that. So
we don't go
thank you for providing that update. But we were going to announce that as well. So I want to thank Assemblyman Hutchinson and Senator Moriarty and Assemblyman Miller for securing that grant for our township and for our recreation program.
Okay.
Not for infrastructure or anything like that. But so $750,000 is interesting because we've seen a couple of these grants before, right? They'll put up half, and then we have to put up the other half. So $750K. So they're going to go back to the same thing we had before. It's going to be $1.5 million. So now we know what's this going to cost taxpayers? $750,000.
No, it'll still cost 1.5, but they got 750 more into it. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now we can make it.
We don't know what the
over $2 million,
caveats are
right?
Yeah.
But we're at least, if we approve this, we're at least out of taxpayers. We're at $750,000 for taxpayers now.
I'll argue that the grant itself is taxpayer money. The government does not
Well,
have
it is.
money. It's our money. It just was spent
it's
through the
New
state
Jersey
somehow that went to somewhere else that got divvied out to us. And if it wasn't from here, it was somebody else's tax dollars. They didn't want to pay that money for it.
Look, throughout New Jersey, it's not a Gloucester Township problem. It's a New Jersey problem that we're killed with taxes. And they're just $750,000 just laying around.
Why is that laying around?
Hey, you want a batting cage? We got $750 for a batting cage, and then I don't know.
And even if I got it, what's the monthly cost?
We're going
Right?
to get $750K for Gloucester Township Community Park. This funding is to be used to build indoor batting cages. Awesome. Love it. Glad it's not coming out of my pocket.
It is
But
though.
what I do want to know what's going to be coming out of my pocket. Monthly operating costs?
You know he's irritated when he pours water too every
That's what I
time.
want to know.
Does that?
Is that water?
How much for gas, electricity, water, 2 sewer bills, staffing, payroll, taxes? It's a lot. So are we going to be setting aside a reserve from the $750K to run it? Or is it going to be taxpayers? Or are we going to charge to use this if outside teams from different
They don't worry
towns
about
use it?
maintaining anything.
Regarding monthly operating
Monthly
costs,
costs.
and staffing and taxes, and is there a reserve? I'll defer to Mr. Cardis.
Never thought about
There
it.
is no reserve.
No.
We do have our open space tax, which equates to approximately $900,000 per year. That was by referendum back in the early 2000s, and it was overwhelmingly passed. So that
The
money
sewer was overwhelmingly
probably
rejected
is all of our
As a
other
reminder
buildings,
to you.
and it'll be under the operating budget.
So, Mr. Cardis did no research on this at all to let us, if this does eventually happen. Miss Kelly said that she was happy that it was not coming out of her pocket.
Although
Probably-
it is.
Probably,
in a way.
yeah, probably didn't realize that $750K is at least half of what this thing's going to cost. So, yeah, it is. It's
All right.
And she makes a good point. On top of that, like, how is it going to be staffed?
Oh, yeah. We had
if-
this conversation before, and they all, at that time, agreed this isn't the moment for it. So somehow, a few months later, now all of a sudden it's the time
Yeah,
for
there's
it.
never any planning ahead. We never think about any of this stuff. And the next thing you know, 20 people work there, and we've got this massive budget now, and they're going.
Well,
I mean,
we
hey,
gotta-
we
gotta pay 'em.
people got to come in there and they got to play, And then like if you're an outsider, I mean, unless you're on one of the clubs that are in township, you're never going to get a chance inside this thing. So,
all right. Well, anyway, we move on to another thing had to do with minors, young people, and parents. Yeah. It was an ordinance that was passed where I believe this had to do probably with that bill that LD4, I think it was like
Super Dan wrote,
Yeah, that he had the parents having responsibility for actions that the minors have, right? So I guess they rewrote the chapter 38, I think it was, right?
Next is ordinance 0-25-19. It's a first reading, an introduction. There will be a hearing at its second reading. This is ordinance creating chapter 39 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester entitled Minors and Parent Responsibility of the Code Book of the Township of Gloucester, County of Camden, and State of New Jersey. What this particular ordinance does is that it holds parents responsible for the supervision of their children. It deals with apprehension of violators, that they'll be subject to penalties. This was something that was discussed. This is dealing basically with minors. And we've seen that there have been incidences throughout the South Jersey area and throughout the state. And this is a proposal, an ordinance to try to curb that type of behavior. But the whole parent's responsible, where they could be fined up to $2,000 and or spend 90 days in detainment. the parents. So
90
may I have a
days of
motion, please?
detainment?
Damn. So if you're like if you got some bad kids,
You
rather than you
look out.
spending some time fixing the bad kids, they're going to throw you in jail so the bad kids are home by themselves.
Yeah, so somebody else. Then maybe they'll act up too, and then you can spend some more time in jail.
Yeah, you're never getting out
It
of
was just
jail
an endless
because your
cycle.
kid's just home going crazy.
Which laws stop criminals from?
Oh man, yeah. So, we talked about that bill too before. Like a lot of that stuff is already illegal.
Right.
It's like a lot of preventative stuff, and it's kind of like what happened at Gloucester Township Day was already illegal. What was going on there, but they just made like this stuff before, like just gathering random like. It's like a lot of preventative stuff, but.
Yeah,
Look,
I'm not going to get into a whole dissertation about that.
If your kids are a little unruly, you might want to take a look at that one, just to know what's coming up for you. And next was eGov, and just like a lot of our other sections here, people have given up on eGov because they're like, what's the point at this point?
Yeah.
So second public comment was, I almost said public portion, but it's just a comment.
It's just a comment
now.
section. So let's see. A reoccurring member of the public that's just always questioning them with a reoccurring question that has been asked. Oh my God, so many times.
Good evening.
No answers.
I'm here tonight to raise what should be a simple issue, but continues to be met with avoidance and deflection. For 2 months, I've asked where the council members received the Michaels Organization 181-page redevelopment proposal, when they got it, how they got it, and whether they got it before voting. These are yes or no answers. If you did receive it and if proper procedure was followed, it would be an easy yes. The council president responded to that question by saying he received a packet. That's nice. All council members receive a packet from the clerk before every meeting. The question is whether the 181-page proposal was received by every member of council before the vote. Several council members have already admitted they did not receive it. Do you want us to believe that some members were sent the plan and others were not, or that it was only sent to the council president? So I ask again, did every council member receive the 181-page redevelopment plan before voting to approve the resolution? This is about township-owned land. It should not be optional to answer. Instead of addressing whether you followed the process outlined in New Jersey redevelopment law, you dodge, deflect, and perform.
You've asked this question on several occasions. I have responded to your question on several occasions for myself. I cannot answer for the other 5 council members that were here. And Mr. Castro is new here, but I can't answer for them. I have answered for myself. If any council member would like to respond to Ms. Coyne's question, and I keep answering and responding the same thing. I read the document. I took a look at the document. I was aware of the document, Ms. Coyne. You keep asking folks. There are other people here on council. They can respond.
You don't allow anyone to talk. How are they supposed to answer?
I did receive the report.
Okay.
I went through all the paperwork I have at home from this position, and I did see the report, and I did go through it. I didn't read the whole 181 pages, but I did skim through it, and I just felt I should let you know that.
A bullshit?
I also received it and went through it also.
A bullshit?
I also went through it. I have it at home.
A bullshit.
Yes, we read through it. I read through. Thank you.
Bullshit.
She was going to die on that hill the other one day.
With that, pulling the directors, please.
So, all right. When was it? When was this first? When this first came up? Was this 2 months ago?
It was May.
It was about 2 months ago. So
May.
2 months ago, this was the mayor did the commercial. We're working with the Michaels organization, all this stuff, and then Denise showed up and said, "Hey, who approved this? Like, who approved that we're working with the Michaels organization?" Then she did some research. She found out like the proposal was 180 pages, and she said, "Look, you guys, this was on a consent agenda.
Everything was sneaky about it. You know,
Right.
it was on a consent agenda to be the name the redeveloper, conditional redeveloper. There was an RFP RFP that, or I forget what they even call it. It was like a request for interest of development, whatever they called it. That was a short time frame thing that somehow the Michaels organization knew that we even had this out there, came up with an 881-page response to it. It was announced at the the Gloucester Township Business Breakfast, which is viewed as some people as a campaigning thing, and they always say every election year that somehow he has some project that doesn't actually come to fruition. The data center that happened in the past was announced at one of those. This thing, but either way, he's announcing it to the public before anyone in the public had any clue whatsoever that this was even taking place, and that's what her point is. How does this ever get in front of the public as a done deal, and there's not been a single conversation publicly about it? And the only answer back from the council president there was, it was on a consent agenda and you missed it, so it's your fault for not doing it. And she's like, "Wait, hold on, no, this is not how this works."
If you're not familiar too, consent agendas are not even talked about. They just go through and at some point
routine items.
They say we're going to we can or we cannot accept the consent agenda. The stuff in the consent agenda is not read off. So the question came up. So you all agreed to approve that consent agenda. Did you read it?
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Did you even get it? Did you even get the documents?
And at first they were all like, "Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was.
I must have.
I'm sure it was in the paperwork." And Denny said, "No, this is 180 pages.
It was spiral bound. Yeah,
it's a binder. You would have known about it." And then there was a lot of silence, and I believe Miss Walters said that she didn't. Carolyn Grace, I have to read it again, but I did read it before. I'm just gonna need to take a look at it again. Like we all knew, just cut it.
We know you're in a foxhole.
You're
being a good foxhole person here.
A lot of them just remained silent. Jim Nash said, "I hadn't seen it.
Right.
It was not given to me." Like the only guy up there that was honest about not seeing it, and I think Walters did.
I think Walters also said she did not.
She did not see it. But now, this one here, ask him again. Walters is like, "Yeah, I got it at home." And then Troxel...
Well, the way that they answered the question wasn't, did you get it prior? It was, I read it. Did you read it now? Because Denise's question is specific. It was, did you read this? Did you get this and read it prior to the vote? The vote meaning the one that was snuck in on a consent agenda.
If you read it now, it doesn't matter.
Allegedly accidentally.
If you read it this week, it doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. And that's her point. And they're answering, yes, I do have it and I read it.
So now they're all saying...
That's great, but that's not the question.
So they all either didn't respond or...
But the thing that pisses you off is like when Denise is saying up there, like, this is public property that, they should have. They also look at public property in a different light. This is our property, not the public's.
Their public property.
It's their
public
property,
yes.
Not ours,
yes.
the people's.
Yes.
That's the difference there.
So
very clear difference.
Yeah. So it was interesting to see all of a sudden now. It's like everybody got talking to, right? And Mr. Nash stayed out of it too, by the way. He didn't get involved. He did not comment at all. Yeah. He did not change his tune to say, "Yeah, I actually forgot. I read it."
Nope.
So good on him for that. Next up,
she also brought up another past little topic here.
Oh, we talked about this.
At the last meeting, we were given a feel-good story about the Gloucester Premium Outlets, how it used to be farmland, bringing only in $6,000 a year in taxes, and now it's one of the biggest taxpayers. But you only told half the story.
Yep.
The rest of the story is that the developer received a 5-year tax abatement while taxpayers funded millions in infrastructure, including ramps, roads, and utilities. The developer, the landowner, and the pay-to-play vendors benefited immediately. The public paid upfront, were left with the bill, and waited years to see a return. I don't think that's smart development. It is, however, a reminder of why transparency matters. And let's not ignore who owned the outlet land. If reports are correct, it was tied to George Norcross. The council president said that residents were upset about that. The Michaels organization also has ties to George Norcross. Did anyone mention that relationship? knowing it was an issue previously. This time, though, the residents own the land. It's public land, and we deserve to know all the facts, including political connections.
That was the Nicholson farm that was there, and Nicholson sold it to Cooper Hospital, and Cooper Hospital had intentions of having a facility there. That did not materialize, and I guess people got
it got more valuable once we paid for all that infrastructure.
Simon Properties. Again, that was a 60-acre parcel of land that was generating about $6,000 in farmland assessed taxes. The project was completed on August 15th of 2015. It'll celebrate its 10 years. It did receive a 5-year tax abatement. On a tax abatement, you have a abatement. You're not paying taxes on the improvements. It's scaled 0, 30%, 50%, 70%, 90%, then 100% you pay full freight after 5 years. They did that. They were still paying the taxes on the land because now it was assessed as a commercial property and not farmland assessed. That is the largest taxpayer in our township. The fact that the Michaels organization or the individual you had indicated, Mr. Norcross, have a relationship, to be quite frank with you, that does not concern me at all. We have a Nike base that has stood vacant along in the southern part of our town for years. No one has put a project there. If they're willing to put a project there and invest in our community, I have no problem of that project and who they're connected to. None at all.
We know that.
Still got a problem with the way that he described the outlets. So I guess just brief history from what I gather was farmland zoned for farmland, right? So cheap property, farmland is not expensive property. It's not zoned for commercial, so you can't get big dollars for it. It was bought by 42 Properties. I think the name of it. It's a subsidiary of Cooper Hospital, but it's called it's like 42 Properties or something like that. Bought by them, cheap, and then we changed the master plan. We changed zoning for it, so then it became valuable property. So it raised the price of by millions.
Well, and then go ahead.
And then everybody, then we started building infrastructure around it.
Well, you're saying it's going to be a hospital, and you're like, wow, that's great. Well, how are we going to connect to the other side of 42 is over there? How are we going to do that? A bridge needs to go in to be put.
Bridge,
connected.
Circles. I mean,
now that property is connected to the other side of 42, and you're saying, wow, the value of this property, now
it's really valuable property, right? And then they go, you know what? Not going to do that hospital thing. And then they sell it off to Simon for millions of dollars in profits.
Yeah.
So plus, and the taxpayers paid for, the infrastructure going to the outlets. So we kind of got suckered into it. It's not. It's kind of a gummy story, really. It's not as feel good. Sure, it's great. It's great because they're good taxpayers.
I don't personally know the whole history of that story. I've heard bits and pieces like you're telling that story. That's the only thing.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind having the outlets there. I love the retail. I wish we had more retail. The way that I had heard that went down, I really didn't like that. I really didn't like how that went down. But it's not. It always comes up as like this feel good story, and that's the only part that bugs me about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate Denise's questions and hard hitting questions to them that they do not like. So I always appreciate that. Mr. Burns is also another one I appreciate, who is always trying to, preserve land, and he had brought some pictures with him. I don't know how much of this clip you clipped, so I'll just play this.
Brian Burns, Sawwood. I had communication with Dottie Murray today, who informed me that the closing is supposed to take place next week on her property.
All right.
So I wanted to confirm that. The other thing I wanted to do was hand out some photos and review them with you, since I've been very busy the last 2 weeks out in the mud with the bugs and the sweat and doing conservation work within this particular watershed that you guys have worked on preserving. I think you're going to find these very interesting. So I'm trying to open up your eyes here that when you approve things, maybe you can go out and look at these properties and actually see what's there. Instead of just voting yes, and the land clearing guys come in, and you really don't have an understanding of what is being destroyed. Now, I only got 2 seconds left, but I did look at the draft of the open recreational plan, and it did say that we are still not at acceptable levels of land preservation. So I want to thank you. I think I've been here 10, 12 years, starting with the Roslyn Bridge, and then the Hayes property, and then the Murray property, and all told, if you can include the acreage from the HOA, it's 200 acres of undisturbed, continuous in-tract land. And that's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Burns.
thank
I
you for that.
appreciate it. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so he's always helping come
Fantastic
up
work
with
that
some
he
way
does.
to
Yeah, I don't
preserve some land here.
If he wasn't here to do it, I don't know that it would ever. I don't know that it would ever happen. So, I mean, these two properties, the Murray and the Hayes properties.
Well, he also had that Roslyn Bridge and some other.
Yeah, but
like you just said, I think it was like
the
200
last
something acres.
two have gone on forever, and
Yeah,
he
this
has
one's
been
gone
there almost every council meeting. Pressing,
Well, yeah, he'll take a break
reminding.
sometimes, and he'll come back, and you'll be like, "Wow, I didn't realize that much time passed." And he'll be like, "It's now like we're going on 3 years, or whatever, whatever it is." And you're like, "Wait, why? Why is it taking this long?" And it's like, all you need to do is just, swipe your pen this way. Can they do that? Can you call somebody? And they're like, "We can call someone."
Yeah,
and that's the answer. It's not like we will call them. It's yes, we can. We can call them. That's how they answer questions.
But yeah,
it's like, we didn't do that, or something else is holding it up. It's always something holding up.
I did cut it. I was kind of it was kind of like a whole. I mean, he used up his whole 5 minutes, so it was. But he did. I mean, he showed pictures of different plants and different species that live there.
Was out there,
and it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff you don't think about. You see, off the side of the road, you just see a bunch of trees, right? You see a bunch of trees. You have no idea. Like, I didn't know that there was really even like the stream behind, like off of Sickerville Road, and we talked about that before. Right. It's just stuff you don't think about when somebody says, "I want to build something right here," and you go, "Okay, go ahead." You don't think about the stuff that's there, and man, this guy Brian knows so much about what needs to be preserved. So yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so then after that was pretty much it. Right, there was a polling of directors, which remember there was a new council member, so there was a little bit of whatever you want to say, happiness at the end there.
Yep.
Let's see. So we started off with a clip with a little bit of history of Gloucester Township.
I'm going to read an email, short and sweet, from Joanne Carr, who's a member of the Historical Society. She reminded me that next year is the country's 250th anniversary, but GT just celebrated its 330th birthday. So her words were, next year we'll celebrate the 250th year of our country. This year, 2025, Gloucester Township is 330 years old, founded in 1695 and going strong. So I just wanted to thank Joanne for bringing that to my attention, and hope everyone has a good night.
Okay. 300, that's pretty impressive. That we existed before the
never really put that into perspective. That we know Gloucester Township has a deep history, but I never
dawned
thought about that at the same time, right? That we're older than the country. That I was like, I didn't realize that.
It's pretty nuts. All right, so let's see. What's the next one here? Okay, so this was about Ms. Winters retiring.
I want to wish Mr. Castro the best here. I had an opportunity to meet him a couple months ago, and did some digging. I worked in the city of Camden, and I still have connections in the city of Camden. And when I contacted those folks, they spoke very highly of you and of your family, your service to our country, the service to the Camden Fire Service. And when Jim had indicated you had coached with him, do appreciate you taking this challenge.
Okay.
So, I don't know. The only thing that stood out to me there was I just felt like I said in the beginning of this thing, I felt like this has been going on for months, and he kind of mentioned that he met him months ago, and I'm like, I just kind of feel like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Can we make that up? I mean, it's just but.
Yep. So anyway, again, we don't know anything about really Mr. Castro, so we hope he wish him the best. He had his own closing remarks here, so let's play those.
I do want to start off with from Ms. Winters. From what I hear, I have some very big shoes to fill. So I'm looking forward to stepping in and working with everyone as a group and individually. Like I said, I'm a sponge. I'm going to be soaking a lot of things up, please. I'm easy to direct. I'm always open to constructive criticism as well. So don't ever feel to approach me in any time, day. I'm always open to talk. With that being said, I actually wrote a quick little speech. Standing before you today is one of the greatest honors of my life. Being entrusted with a role on the City Council for Gloucester Township is not only a privilege, it's a responsibility I will carry with immense humility and dedication. But tonight isn't just about me, it's about the people who made this possible. To my family, your unwavering support has been the bedrock of my every step I've taken. Whether it was a late night phone call filled with doubt or an early morning full of hope, you've always been there, steady and strong. Your love is my anchor, and I wouldn't be here without you. To my mentors, who have become close friends, and my closest friends, who have become my mentors. You stood beside me through every chapter of my life. Thank you. You believed in me when I barely believed in myself, and you remind me to laugh, stay grounded, and keep pushing forward. Your faith, your time, your encouragement has shaped me for this moment, and I will carry the weight of this role with the intention of honoring all the residents of this great township. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
All right.
Great speech. It was a little. If you notice, it was a little choppy there. It was just a bit of pauses. I like taking out a lot of the dead space in there to kind of cram it together so that we don't lose people. But great speech. My hope for him is that he just is his own man.
Yep.
That's all we can hope for. He makes his decisions based on his feelings, and that's it.
All right, folks, that's pretty much it for that council meeting here. We thank you for tuning in with us, and I don't know. I don't have anything else. Joe, do you have anything else? Before
Nah.
we tune out? Say goodbye?
What are we at? 1 hour and 2 minutes.
All right. Right on time.
Right on time. So,
all right, folks. Just make sure you subscribe again if you haven't already. Turn the notifications on, and we will see you guys all soon.
Share it out, too.
Yeah, make sure you share it with your friends.
Got a lot of
leave comments down below in the chat down there, so we know people are listening, watching what they
got a lot of new followers like this week. It was like a lot of new followers this week.
Yeah,
and I thought it was like one particular article just struck people, and they shared it, I guess. And then all of a sudden we start getting all these new followers, and
yeah,
share it again, and I don't just share anything, and we'll get some more followers.
Yeah,
and then everybody can kind of and then with more followers we get more feedback, and then I don't know, things just kind of happen.
Makes it better for everyone.
Look, your neighbor's not mowing their lawn.
Yeah.
Keith will go over and take a video of it.
Yeah.
All right, folks. See you soon.
All right, guys.